place that we all live. Because this something else is a foundational element for a flat Earth to be possible. And that means that things are going to stay strange. Because I'm going to tell you something that you may find even more out there than a fake moon landing. This may be interpreted as more out there than the Earth being flat. Because here's where I tell you that based on everything I've researched and everything I've discovered so far, and everything that I've been able to observe up until this point, it appears that we are living in a simulation.
How do you think will virtual reality tie in the future of transportation, which you are working on? Thank you.
Well, maybe we're in a simulation right now. Yeah, seriously. So, following the other speakers, I have a change of pace, a little bit of a fun talk. And what I'm going to try and do is convince you you're a simulation and that physics can prove it. Okay. So, instead of a usual uplifting talk, this is a different kind of talk. Okay. So, there's one thing you know for certain, that is that you exist as a flesh and blood human being. My goal is to convince you otherwise. Okay. So, logic is not going to be enough. You guys are going to be simulation deniers. Right? I mean, there's just no way around it. So, my actual goal will be to actually create a sliver of doubt in your minds so that you actually think about this and what it might mean.
So I know this is a lot to throw at you. I've also got to immediately share that I do not agree with these men in regards to their definitions of a simulation, but it appears that their positions seem to contain some truth. Because based on what I can determine as of now, I believe we are living inside a simulation. But I don't believe humans are inside some simulation being run on some supercomputer. For the record, I believe the God of the Bible created everything around us. But please know that I'm going to do more than just say I believe we're in a simulation. I'm going to actually show you what I believe to be unique visual evidence that supports this claim. Because there are visual wonders everywhere. They're mostly overlooked. But it does seem that this place can show us many things if we just look up and all around. First, these are crepuscular rays. Can you see them between the bed of clouds and the ocean? Can you see the rays shining down at some really unique angles? Well, Wikipedia says that crepuscular rays are rays of sunlight that appear to radiate from the point in the sky where the sun is located. This is pretty amazing, right? It's kind of crazy too, right? Dave from Enslaved by Media recorded this, and I'm going to also intertwine a lot of other footage. But can anyone tell me how a sun that's supposed to be 93 million miles away can create rays of light that go through the clouds at these angles? Do you know how close the sun would need to be to create these angles that we're looking at here? I bet you'll find lots of complicated scientific explanations out there about atmospheric optics and more, but those answers don't make much sense when you think about what we've been taught with the way light moves and travels, and what it would take to create these angles. And please know that these crepuscular rays happen to people all over the Earth, at different longitudes and latitudes, different seasons, different times of the day when the sun is around them. Now let's stay in the clouds for a bit, because my buddy Mike from Flat Earth Photography, he recorded this. Look at these shadows. The sun looks like it's actually in these clouds. This is what I call a visual wonder. Come on, look at this. It just doesn't make sense for the sun to be 93 million miles away when we can constantly observe and record these types of sun and shadow interactions. Again, it looks like the sun is local to the observer, like it's local to all of us. So let's keep reviewing the sun's relationship with clouds. And this one may be hard for you to process as well. Because what does this look like to you? Liz Dexick recorded this video, and you have no idea how many times I've looked at videos like this and tried to make sense of it. Because it's video like this that got me to get out there and personally record this kind of stuff and witness it myself. Because it appears the clouds are behind the sun. Your mind right now may be trying to tell yourself things about this video. You may be trying to explain this away in this very moment. Like the clouds are too thin, or the clouds simply aren't coming through on the camera due to the sun being too bright. But just look at this and pretend what I'm saying was possible for just a moment. What does this actually look like to you? Does it look like the clouds are behind the sun? And if you're not sure, let's take another look. Let's see what happens when we add a negative filter and other filters. Do you see the cloud layers? Do you see the depth of the clouds and how the camera processed the sun as in between the clouds, with some in front and some behind in the back? And there are so many videos out there showing this phenomenon. So many people have recorded this from all over the Earth. There's more evidence out there if you want to find it. Now I'd like to show you more strangeness that indicates we're living in a simulation. These are the shadows of trees during a solar eclipse. How are these kinds of shadows possible? Would you call these normal? Can you tell me how these shadows work? Again, maybe you'll find some scientific explanation for this out there. But I challenge someone to recreate these types of shadows through trees when an eclipse is not happening. And then there are also shadow bands that occur during solar eclipses. These are also strange and also interesting, and they've been captured all over the Earth during solar eclipses as well. Straight up, it certainly seems that solar eclipses are special, unique events. But how does a solar eclipse really work? Because we all know that the sun and moon are always moving across the sky, right? So just stop for a moment and think about how the sun and the moon need to basically stand still and stop in unison for a solar eclipse to work. Or they need to be moving at the exact same speed for quite some time, because some total solar eclipses have lasted up to 6 and 7 minutes. And with that in mind, I've recorded hours upon hours of the moon, the sun, and the stars, and they all travel across the frame of my camera really quickly. Either way, being in the path of totality is a special event in itself. Here's what I actually witnessed during the Great American Eclipse in August of 2017. I personally recorded this video in the state of Oregon. No filter, nothing but my Nikon P900. Holy moly, look at that. Frogs, bats, birds, crickets, they all thought it was nighttime, and they all started doing their nighttime business. The temperature also dropped, and stars came out. This was a really crazy moment. Something that's hard to fully explain to somebody else. It's the kind of moment that helped me see we could be living in a simulation. Now let's slow down for a moment to touch on what I mean when I use the word simulation. I found this online. It's an interesting approach because someone said, this is a neurological simulation. We're all gamers, souls inside of bodies. The body equals computer hardware, and the soul equals the operating system/software. Our experience is basically that as of a user or simmer. So that's an interesting point of view. But now I want to take a moment to speak to my fellow Christians because I'd like to look at the book of Genesis.